Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome to another episode of One Beat, One Take, Looperman Edition. So, for this episode, I'm going to continue with the theme of the previous episode where I take a different sample loop and I remix the sound of the loop and create a beat around the loop within an entire video. So now the first thing we're going to do is we're going to change the tempo of this loop. We have it at 120, we're going to make it 70. Now last episode I ended up using a flute sample. For this episode I am going to use a piano sample. So I'm going to play the original sample right now, and then from there I'm going to change up the overall sound of that loop before adding the drums. So I'm going to hit the space bar. Alright, so the goal now is to make this sample sound different than the original sample. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add a pitch shifter, and we're going to go to 5th. I'm going to raise the mix all the way to 100, and let's hear how this sounds at -2 semitones. I think that sounds pretty good. So the next step is now adding the different plugins. First we're going to do is we're going to add a platinum verb and set that as low soft reverb. So we have that. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to add a modulation chorus effect, and I want to start out by trying slow chorus and hearing how that sounds. That sounds alright. It kind of gives it a little bit of a live sound. I want to hear Pat and Chancer real quick. I'm going to change it back to slow chorus. So we have that there. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to add an EQ, channel EQ. And let's go around with these different keyboard effects. Let's try synth lead presence. Doesn't sound half bad. Now the last thing we want to do is add a compressor before we start sequencing the beat. So I want to let's try electric piano. Okay. I think that's pretty good. So the first thing I'm going to do now is we're going to copy and paste this, and we're going to shorten it and loop it. So I'm going to hit edit, paste, and we're going to set it instead to 7, hit the loop button twice. I'm going to copy it again, paste, and we're going to make this the full amount. Alright, there we go. Alright, now before we get on to if I want to make changes to this overall loop sound, let's start working on the drums. First thing you need to do is decide which drum kit to use. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the EXS24 sampler. I'm going to X this out, and I'm going to go with the Alchemist drum kit. We're going to use some lo-fi type of drum kits for the kick and snare. So we'll hear how these sound overall. I may change the kick to a different one, but we'll do this as temporarily. Okay. Alright, so I'm going to move this now here. Let's get it on the 5, yeah. I'm going to hit the loop button. I am probably going to change the kick drum to something else. So in the meantime now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy the track. I'm going to go to the sampler, and in order to change that, you see how we have Alchemist drum kit right here. I'm going to change that, and we're going to go to the Zaytoven drum kit. I'm going to move this up. I'm going to copy and paste this up to here. Edit paste. I'm going to delete the claps and snares here. We're going to determine a good kick on this one. So now let's drag these up. I'll go with this. And now let's delete the kicks on this one. Alright, let's play this back now that I've changed the kick. Alright, I think that sounds pretty good. So now we're gonna do a new software instrument, and now we're going to add hi-hats. I'm going to do a trapdoor. I'm going to open the piano roll. And let's find the hi-hat. There we go. I'm going to copy and paste this. I'm going to expand it. We're going to do a few things to change it around. take these, and we're going to hit functions, MIDI transform, and we're going to do double speed, operate only. X this out. I'm going to take these now, I'm going to copy and paste them. Okay. Now I'm going to delete this. I'm going to take this one here. I'll take this one here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight all of these. Hit copy. Paste. And let's do that one more time for this one. There we go. Alright. Drag this down. And let's hear this back now with the hi-hats added in. I think that sounds pretty good. Alright, so we're now going to copy this track over by duplicating it. Let's find another hi-hat. That's a chant. Alright, hang on a sec. There we go. I'm going to lower the volume on that. Let's drag this down. I'm going to hit the L button to loop it. Lower the volume. Hang on a second. I just want to hear how the other one sounds before I decide. Just to compare it. That one's not very good. That's not bad. Alright, so the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to create a track again. Go to the sampler. Let's open the Lex Luger. Just add this note in real quick. Lower the volume. Alright, so now this area, like I've done with a lot of my different beats I've created, is have it be the chorus area. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to create the snare roll that will transition into where the verse area would be. So we're going to take, create a snare roll. We're going to copy and paste this right here. Double click it. make these a little smaller. There we go. Now let's do it for the kick drum. Let's delete this one we have here. Doesn't need to be there. Now let's add a triangle to go with this chorus area. There we go. So we have two of them added. I'm gonna drag this here. Hit the L button to loop. I'm gonna lower it a little bit more down to do it at -9. I think that sounds pretty good. So now what we're going to do is we're going to copy and paste this at the 13 and start changing things up a little bit. Alright, so we're going to take this track here and we're going to duplicate that. We're going to drag this down. Now with a lot of my tracks I like to add a phaser effect to hear how that sounds, so that way it sounds a little different when the verse starts up. So let's hear it at phaser filter 2. May change it to 1, but let's hear how that sounds. Alright, hang on, I'm going to change this to 1. I think that might be pretty good. Alright, now the first thing I want to do now is I'm going to delete, or actually I'll move it down temporarily before I start making some major changes with it. I'm going to create a, actually no, I'm going to move this down as well. Create a new track for the Legs Luger kit. Move that down. Alright, so the first thing I want to do is I want to listen to this back without having the hi-hats and the triangle. Let's hear how that sounds. Alright, I want to change this in the snare pattern. We have one here. Let's have this. And we're going to go to get rid of this one. And let's hear this back. Okay. It's not half bad. So we're going to keep these hi-hats as the same, but I'm going to slow these hi-hats down. So I'm going to start deleting some of these hi-hats. I'm going to delete this type of hi-hat pattern, and we're going to do the shorter one instead, right here. So we're gonna copy and paste them right here. Okay. Alright, now here's where things are gonna change a lot, I would say. Gonna take this pattern of hi-hats, gonna copy and paste them here, and we're gonna make them a little smaller. Gonna go into, hang on a second, I'm gonna go to functions, MIDI transform, double speed, operate only, and let's take them here, and we're gonna copy and paste them again. Right where I have it, paste. Alright, and delete these hi-hats. Alright, now let's hear this back. I think that sounds pretty good. Alright, now we're gonna change the sound for this one. Instead of using a triangle, scroll this one down. I like how this one is. We're gonna have to raise the volume on that one. We're gonna put it at 4, and let's hear that back. Okay, so now what we want is to copy and paste this, and we're going to make the beat continue to expand. Alright, now I'm going to add some more kick drums now into the pattern, so that way it sounds like it's progressing a little bit. So I'm going to go to the pencil tool, right there, and right here. And instead I'm going to have these I'll do. Actually, I'm gonna drag them here instead. I liked how I had this one originally. So what I'm gonna do now for it to progress a little bit differently, I'm gonna duplicate this Alchemist drum kit, and I'm going to copy and paste these snares, and we're going to have them on top of a different snare so you could hear a little bit of a different effect. Merge the two together. So I'm going to open the piano roll, and I'm going to hear some of these other snare or clap sounds to merge them. Alright, yeah, this might be good. We might have to lower the volume though a good amount. So I'm going to change this to -7. And we're going to do the same now for these ones. There we go. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these hi-hats, going to stretch this out all the way. Take these ones as well, and we're going to add some more. Whoops. Edit undo. There we go. And I need to fix this with these hi-hats, because this looks like it was a mistake. So 1 second. Double speed. Hang on a second. We're going to copy it, paste. Now let's hear this back now. I think that's better. Alright, so now I'm going to add some hi-hats. Alright, gonna create another Legs Luger track. I'll take this one here, and we're going to move it all the way down to here. And let's change it up yet again with a different chant. We're going to increase the speed a little bit. Alright, there we go. So I'm going to now change up the hi-hat pitches, add some 808s, and mix the track overall. So let's do with the hi-hats. We're going to have to create 2 more tracks of trapdoor. So we're going to do software. Electronic drum kits, designer, trapdoor. And let's do that again for 1 more. There we go. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to copy and paste the hi-hats into these 3 tracks. And once again. Now I still need to mix the hi-hats, but before I do that, I'm going to show what exactly I'm going to change in them. So we're going to open the piano roll. One sec. I'll do it down here. We're going to delete these ones. Now for this one, I'm going to delete these. Oh yeah. So just have these ones. And now the last one here. We're going to delete these. There we go. So let's start by actually mixing some of these hi-hats before I get into the other tracks. I'm going to make this one be standard hi-hat EQ. Soft kit. Low soft reverb. So now I'm going to add those into these tracks now. Not gonna play it back yet. Gonna wait a couple of seconds. Alright, one more. And then from there, I'm going to add a pitch shifter to change the pitch of the hi-hats. Alright, there we go. Now what I'm going to do for these ones is I'm going to add a pitch shifter right here. I'm going to change it to drum shift, raise it to 100, and let's hear this one at -2. I'm going to add a pitch shifter to the original one, so that way that's not the only one that has the main shifting effect. So once again, drum shift 100%. We're going to make this -1. And we had this at -2. No wonder this is at 0. That's why it sounds a little louder. We're going to change it to, let's do -3. Alright, now as you can hear, those hi-hats sound a little too high pitched because they're a lot raised higher than the other ones. So we're going to do drum shift again. And put this at -3. I'm going to lower this all the way to -4. Now let's play that back as a whole. I think that sounds pretty good. We didn't need to have the shifter on the main set of hi-hats. So now I'm going to delete the ones yet again for these, so that way it follows the exact same formula as the hi-hats for the chorus area. So just give me a moment. Delete these. Alright, now for this track I'm just going to keep those ones right there in the middle. Those smaller ones will be on the third track. Alright. Hit delete. Alright, now let's hear this part of the beat back now that I've deleted them. There we go. Now we just have to do the area where the end of the verse would be. Alright, so the main set of hi-hats now. There we go. Just for, I believe it's just the middle ones are going to be on this track. Yep. Delete these. And then right here. Alright, now let's listen to this back. I think that sounds pretty good. So what I want to do from here is I want to start to mix the overall sounds I have and then conclude it by adding the 808s. So the first thing I want to do is work on the kick drum. So we're going to do channel EQ, and we're going to do that drums, punchy kick 02. Let's hear how this sounds solo wise. Add compression. Might sound a little too low. Try rock kick. There we go. So now from there, now we're going to work on the snare drums. We're going to try natural snare and hear how that sounds first. Okay. And from there, let's go to add compression. Actually, let's try VCA snare. Alright, now that's very loud and powerful. Don't want that. Let's try vintage snare. Yeah, I'm gonna go with vintage snare for that one. Let's add the reverb, low soft reverb. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to duplicate the track. I'm gonna move this down. We're gonna put this at -9. There we go. So we're gonna delete this. Did it do it? No, it did not. There we go. I just want to hear that back now that I've added the layered the snares on top of each other. It looks like one of them accidentally got deleted, so I'm gonna have to paste this and move one down. Okay, let's open the piano roll. There we go. Okay, so we have those mixed. We're gonna do now these hi-hats. So I'm gonna channel EQ, and for this one I want to do standard hi-hat EQ. Gonna have to lower the volume a little bit on this one. There we go. So now we just have to do the Lex tracks, which I'm gonna most likely duplicate it so that way I don't have to do them one by one, and then I'll do the 808. So we're going to do channel EQ, vintage hi-hat. From there, compression. Once again, I like to do it on VCA soft kit, and then just add my reverb. Low soft reverb. And now I have to decide how high I want the volume for this hi-hat to hit when it comes in. I like how that sounds at -5. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to duplicate this track with the plugins added, and we're going to move these triangles up, hit delete, and let's move this down back to the way I had it at, we'll do it at 10. I believe that's fine. I'm gonna once again duplicate the track, move these chants up, hit the delete button, and we had this at -9. We're gonna move this all the way up to -4 because I know that it's a very low sounding chant. Once again, duplicate the track. We're going to move this chant up, hit the delete button, and we're going to lower this to, I would say, -6. And hear how it sounds. Alright, I think that sounds pretty good. Now before I do the 808s, I want to add my tag real quick. So I'm going to just drag these windows down just so that way I could get that opened. There we go. Tag's right here. Drag it down. Alright, what I want to do now is I just want to add a mixing effect into the tag. Just scroll this down right here. We're going to go to Platinum Verb, and we're going to do ambience, and go all the way up into 72. There we go. I'm going to lower the volume to let's try -5. Alright, I think that's fine. Alright, now the last step of this beat is going to be the 808. So we're going to create a new track, and we're going to open the ES2 synthesizer 2. We're going to go to tutorial settings, and we're going to do analog saw init. Alright, now the first step, we're going to move the dialer all the way up here, FM. Change this to mono. Going to go to R long, and we're going to raise it all the way very high. I would say right here at 80 would be good. Maybe a little lower. Now at A long, I'm gonna move this up a little bit. I'm gonna move this down to 24. I would say would be the best. For distortion, I'm going to move this all the way to 6. We may lower it along the way. Turn this off, and we're going to make it envelope 1. I'm going to raise this all the way up. And now the drive, we're going to increase that. Now from there, I like to have a little distortion in my 808s, so I'm gonna create a channel EQ, And hang on a moment. Right here, I'm going to raise this all the way up. I'm going to move this all the way up there too. I'm going to go to open a limiter and increase the gain all the way up to 20. And the output level, we're going to have it at -1. Alright, so I'm going to now copy and paste the kick drum, and we're going to layer the kick drum with the 808. Hit paste. I'm going to open the piano roll. I'm going to have to lower the volume because last time I remember working on the 808 in a tutorial video, the volume was very loud. So we're going to have that have it at temporarily at 12, probably going to have to go a lot lower along the way. Alright, I think that's pretty good. Now the reason it's a little longer lasting is because of the drive being up. Usually without the drive and the... What's the other one? Alright, move this up. And the distortion, there we go. Alright, hang on a moment. I'm going to lower the drive. I have the drive too high. Now the point is for the 808s to hit the exact same time that the kick drums hit. So I'm going now to paste, and we're going to have them go at the exact same time and then play that back just with the snares alone. Okay, and I'll do these. Increase it. I just got a couple more. Alright, just got this last two. Then from there we'll play it back along with the kick and snare before we play it as the entire beat as a whole. Alright, now the last one. Oh, hang on a second. Had to fix that. Messed up the region a little. Moving this down. And there we go. Oh, hang on, I just realized. Never added the kick here, these kicks here that they originally were. There we go. So now let me just change that with these. Alright, now like I said, I was gonna play it back with the kick and the snare. Alright, now let's play the beat as a whole. So I'm going to lower the volume of the 808 because you can hear it a little bit more, I would say, once the hi-hats fade away. Alright, I think that sounds pretty good. Alright, the last thing I'm going to do before I conclude this video is I'm just going to copy and paste this chorus area and just to hear how that transitions to end the beat. Alright, so we're at the 29 mark. Gonna hit the paste button. Let's hear this back real quick. Alright, hang on a sec. I just want to hear the leveling real quick for this. Alright, now the last thing you usually do is just drag this all the way down so that way it'll end where I have the track pretty much ending at. Now, oh, hang on a second. I have to move that up a little bit, yeah. It's at 15. Let's move this a little bit further up. Here we go. So I'm gonna move this so that way it ends at 38. So what I'll do is I'm gonna copy and paste it so that way the final version of this beat has an area of 2 verses. So I'm gonna hit copy, go to 37, and we're gonna hit paste. And we're gonna move this down. Hang on a sec. There we go. We'll move it to 61, 62. There we go. And the last thing to do is save the work. So we're gonna hit File, Save As, Piano, Trap, Sample Beat. And we're gonna hit save. And there we go. Alright, so this concludes today's episode of One Beat, One Take. Let me know what you think in the comments section. Hit the like button. Subscribe. If you have any ideas of what I should create next time, do share. And thanks for joining me. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.